of the Electoral College.
I'm open to the idea of a younger voting age.
Term limits for Supreme Court justices might be one thing.
The popular vote has been diminished.
I believe that it's time to have popular elections. I think the Electoral College needs to go.
Okay.
But are they really pushing these changes to give Democrats a better shot at winning?
Here to react, Dave Rubin, host of the Rubin Report. Hey, Dave. Round of applause for this man.
Good to be with you.
I love your podcast.
Yeah, thanks.
Are you surprised about all this?
Did you drug these people?
Oh, they were all pumped up.
7 in the morning. I got up about 6 minutes ago.
Wow.
What's going on?
Well, you look wide awake.
Yeah,
Some of these drastic changes, do you think this is what America wants?
No, I don't think it's what America wants. You know, I've been touring the last year, and I go to colleges, and I bounce all over the country. And one of the things that I see most is that actually people like what's happening here by and large.
College kids?
Yeah. Believe it or not, they actually do. Now I'm talking about sort of more conservative or libertarian leaning kids, but they don't want everything to be tossed up in the air. They don't want the chessboard thrown up. One of the things that I always say when I go to colleges, I say to the kids, does anyone in this room have it worse than their grandparents? And nobody ever has raised their hand yet. And I've talked to thousands and thousands of kids. And that shows you that America is not perfect, but over the generations of time, over the hundreds of years of our history, the arc has bent towards more justice, towards more equality. We once had slavery. We don't have slavery anymore. Women couldn't vote at one time. Gay people couldn't get married. All of these things have changed for more equality, and I think that's what people are realizing, that we've done some good things here, and that generally we give more rights to more people. So there's a reason that everyone still wants to come to America, and people don't want to leave America, even though, you know, Lena Dunham and the Hollywood crew they always say it. Nobody's stopping.
No one ever leaves.
Yeah. No one ever leaves. Yeah, no one ever
lost
leaves.
Alec Baldwin 20 years ago.
Yeah, right. They never go anywhere. Yeah.
Since you mentioned you go to universities to talk all the time, we want to show folks a little bit of video from the University of Missouri at Kansas City. Michael Knowles, who appears on this program a lot, he also has a very popular podcast and radio show. Watch this. Somebody goes after him with a super stoker. Well, that's pretty terrifying. A super soaker is a squirt gun, and something like that. You don't know what somebody's throwing it at somebody with.
Look, I know Michael. You guys know Michael. It's like he has pretty mainstream conservative beliefs. This is not somebody who's far right or anything like. He's a totally nice guy. He's funny. But this is what's happening. And when I say that, you know, a lot of these college kids actually are okay, they really are. And this is this tiny, extreme group that nobody on the left is willing to call out, because they've called everybody else a bigot and a racist and a homophobe for so long that they don't want those tactics being used against them.
Why are they so angry, though? I mean,
they're angry because they've consistently been taught, because the way that postmodernism and leftism has taken over academia and many parts of the media, not this room right here, they've been taught that America is fundamentally not good. And they believe it's theirs to change, and if only they had the power to do it, that they could somehow be so much better than all of the people that came before them.
Do you think that when you look at disruptions on college campuses, it seems like it's usually just directed at conservatives?
Oh, it's always directed. Well, it's conservatives or anyone that's outside of progressive groupthink, because, you know, I come from the left, and I still consider myself a liberal. I'm a liberal in the classical sense, and I know I have some political disagreements than you guys, but they're not thrilled with me either, you know. And I'm pro-choice begrudgingly. I'm against the death penalty, a couple other things. I'm gay married. I mean, that should have some cred for the lefties, but it actually doesn't. Because if you take any position, in my case, I'm very pro-free speech. They're not thrilled with that.
What do they call you? What are the names that they alt-right?
Oh, I've been called alt-right and far-right and, you know, all sorts. Then had people throw things at me, and they bring, you know, noisemakers.
No super soaker.
I haven't had the super soaker yet.
Davey, about a minute ago, you said we were a country with slavery and it was abhorrent. We changed. We were a country with suffrage where women couldn't vote, and we changed. In the 1960s, the Civil Rights Act. So what happens is you could look at that and say, look how bad we were, or you could look at that and say, look how great we are becoming.
Well, that's
better
the idea.
and better and better. Why are people choosing to see it bad when instead of seeing we're a society that keeps getting better and trying to be more perfect?
Well, I think it's lazy thinking. It's just an immature way of looking at the world. The idea that you somehow, and especially if you're a 20-year-old kid, that somehow you have the knowledge and the wherewithal to do all of the things that the people before you, that your parents
To
and
take
your
down that
grandparents' generation,
statue.
who fought communism, who fought Nazism, all of these things, that somehow you can do it better and that you have to erase everything that they did. And that's why I'm saying I do think there is a growing amount of young people, and we're seeing this. The generation
That's
below the
encouraging.
millennials,
Right.
they're actually more conservative than the millennials because they realize that this hectoring and screaming and silencing people and deplatforming people, they're realizing this is actually not productive. Let's debate some ideas.
Right.
I mean, that's the beauty of this country, right? We got 350 million some odd people, and I want to live in a country
Right.
where I disagree with.
It's just
my
encouraging
neighbor.
that people are letting people talk.
Yeah.
Dave
Pleasure,
Rubin, check
guys.
out his webcast. It is fantastic.
Thank
Are you
Have a
still
safe trip
still
back
on
to
tour?
LA.
I'm not. Well, I'll be in Philly at YALCON tonight, Young Americans for Liberty, and then I'm bouncing
Right.
around.
And if you see Dave buy him dinner, he's trying to pay for himself. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
All right. Meanwhile.